excited about magic. So followed him round for quite a bit. I think he took it the wrong way, thought that I found him attractive.
Sure.
And he did a trick where I had to write my phone number on a card, and it wasn't a trick, he just kept my phone number and rang me about 12 times in the next week.
Whoa. Was it Paul Daniels?
Sadly, no.
And so, what, you know, how did you get out of it? I'm always interested to know how a lady resists the charms of a magician.
If you ignore somebody long enough, they will go away. But yeah, I was like, oh, that was funny. No, it wasn't funny. You've got my... Oh. I don't know how to react to that. I'll stop following you around and giving you the wrong signal.
That's extraordinary. And did he sort of magically appear one day at work, just to come out of nowhere?
Amazing. Yeah. If he had done that.
Would you have been impressed?
Yeah, James in Islington has texted in, a friend of his was conned by a chap selling Mary Jane up in Camden, and what he thought was Mary Jane turned out to be crumbled up green foam. The message there, kids, is don't buy drugs.
Yes. Is that what Mary Jane is?
Apparently so.
I thought it was... I was, for some reason, thinking of Mary J. Blige. I was thinking, this guy's buying some dodgy knocked-off CDs.
Yeah, well, don't do that either, obviously.
Yeah, absolutely.
Dan in NYC has a great story. He was living in San Francisco in 1988. He was in the bank, and some guy bumped into him and says, do you know where this street is? Because I'm doing some recording work with Talking Heads. And he says, oh yeah, it's just around there. And he must have showed an interest in Talking Heads. The guys go, oh yeah, there's a show tonight, a secret show. I can get you in, you and a mate, for $25 each. And incredibly, by an incredible stroke of coincidence, he'd been working in LA the previous week in a recording studio with David Byrne.
What, this bloke had?
Yeah, and so he said, well, how is he here in San Francisco when he was in LA and he's still recording there? And the guy just got in a big huff and stormed off. But apparently it's a well-known scam over in stateside USA.
What, specifically cons involving David Byrne?
Mostly, yeah. You know, you think they happen once in a lifetime. But, cheers. And last up, Peter in Edinburgh says, like you, I've been stung many times in the past, and fed up with the situation, I've started my own campaign. Unfortunately, the campaign funds are running low. If you could just transfer £256.75 to my account urgently, we'll fight the scammers together.
You have to be very wary, because there are quite a number of those ones, aren't there? It's, there's some money in a bank account in Africa, just waiting for you. All you need to do is XYZ, and, you know...
I got excited the first time that happened. I got my email from an African prince. I was like, wow, really? Yeah. No. Oh, you want my money? Oh,
it's so disappointing, isn't it, when it turns out it's not... Actually, that there isn't, there's cash waiting for you. It's so gutting.
You know Danny Wallace's book, Yes Man? Have you read that book?
Yes.
When he decides to say yes to everything, and he says yes to one of those scam artists. It doesn't instantly reply with his bank details, but says, yes, I'm certainly be interested in going further with this. And of course, they do write back. It's well, this is wonderful news. Please transfer the money. Says, oh, right. Just, can you give me your... you know, there's the whole kind of exchange of emails between them, 5 or 6. And one guy even managed to get money off the scammer. I don't know how. Really complicated and brilliantly done. But he managed to scam the scammer for money, and of course give them money to charity or something similar.
Scamming the scammer is the dream we all dream of.
It is, isn't it?
I think.
That's a book waiting to happen. Scamming the Scammer. That's your Christmas book.
Well, I'm also a massive fan of the TV show The Real Hustle. Have you ever seen that? It's absolutely dynamite. I'm surprised it's only on BBC 3. Oh, it's fantastic. There's a number of scams that I'm going to be putting into operation this Christmas that will net me some quality Christmas gifts.
Have we turned full circle?
We have. You see how easy it is to become tarnished and sullied once you yourself have been scammed. The problem is, because of my endless run-ins with scammers, I now no longer even tolerate people on the street who ask for money. It's terrible. I used to be a very charitable guy. No, Harry, shut up. I did. I did used to be a very charitable guy, and now I just turn my back on all charities, unless... Well, actually, I was going to say unless they have official status, but no, I actually turn my back on them as well. It's terrible. But yes, I have at least 2 more scams which I'll fill you in with before the end of the show. Again, as a public service broadcasting... keep your scams coming in 64046, is that right? Yeah. Stephen.6music@bbc.co.uk. Listen, I'm very excited about playing this tune because so rarely have I delved into the pigeonhole and actually found anything that's really sort of put the cat amongst the pigeons. What? let the hairs on the back of my neck stand up, and this tune certainly did it for me. So we're looking into the pigeonhole, and this first tune by Duffy, Rock Ferry. I normally sit on the fence, but have a listen. Available to download from November the 19th and released as a limited edition 7-inch on December the 3rd. That's Duffy and the tune Rock Ferry, co-written with Bernard Butler, formerly of Suede, of course. And so there we are. It charmed me, but I've already seen Harry there turning his nose up, and so I go to you first for your opinion.
Well, you know, it was all very nice and pretty, but it didn't really move me at all. It's funny when the guitar came in at the end, I thought it sounded familiar. It's interesting to find out it was Butler, but no, I mean, that could have been anyone. Post Winehouse, I mean, no, I've run out of words.
What do you mean post-Winehouse? What does
It's
that mean?
well, you know, it just sounded very Winehousey. You know, I can't imagine that record of coming out, 3 years ago, maybe.
Wine-Hoovian. Sure. Rufus, I imagine that you're a bit more forgiving.
Yeah, I like a girl standing in front of a big band singing loudly. A girl in a nice dress standing in front of a band, and especially when it has a bit like a kind of Bond theme. When there's a big, I like projections of girls on other girls with big swelling orchestras behind it.
Okay, but what do you make of the record?
The record reminded me of a Bond theme,
Right.
and rather like Portishead writing soundtracks for an as yet unwritten movie. I liked it a lot.
All right, well, thanks.
Yeah.
Well, listen, clearly I'm the only person here who's been rattled by it. Sammy, are you someone who also is just unimpressed?
It was the first time I've heard it, and I always think it's a good mark of a song if you can imagine yourself being somewhere and hearing it. And I imagined myself either running down a church, down the aisle, an empty big church, crying and wanting somebody to forgive me, or stood on a cliff's edge in a very cold outfit, again crying. That's the two images I got in my head. So it's quite powerful.
Are you thinking of jumping off the cliff in that?
I think I was saying goodbye to somebody.
Right.
I don't know who. I'll let you know if I find out.
Sure. Had you pushed them over the cliff?
Oh, I hope not. The thought may have crossed my mind. Maybe that's why I'm crying.
Were you running away from perhaps an unhappy marriage in the church, or were you running towards the groom?
I think the church and the cliff were unrelated events.
Sure.
It was two different parts of the song that made me feel differently.
But is your true love marrying someone else and you're running in to stop
better
them?
not be.
Right, okay.
I'll tell you that now. It did sound towards the end, 'cause I know it's Rock Ferry. She managed to make Rock Ferry sound like Brian Ferry towards the end. And
Nothing
it
wrong
did
with
sound
that.
like she was just shouting for Brian Ferry to come back.
Nothing wrong with that, yes.
Who isn't?
Text revs in. Apparently Duffy got a break on the Welsh language version of Pop Idol.
Oh, well, jolly good. Good luck to her. I didn't know there was such a thing, but that's excellent. And, yeah, God bless her. All right, well, okay, there, you remain unmoved by that, so we'll play a trail and we'll come back with the Cat Empire, new single, The Chariot. Rufus, just for the purposes of webcam users, can you quickly show us how you would dance to that tune?
I think seated would be best.
Surely not.
I'd like to be in a suit to dance to that tune, a cream suit, but it would be lots of. I don't know if anybody's on the webcam. I'm pushing.
That's sort of like you're shaking some imaginary maracas.
That sort of thing. Yeah, or an enormous wobble board in front of my face.
Sure.
Yeah.
Great. Well, it's good. That's useful information for all webcam users. That was the Cat Empire and a tune called The Chariot from their forthcoming album Two Shoes, and it's released as a download single December the 10th. So there we are. And having been so underimpressed and underwhelmed by Duffy, have you changed your... Oh yes, you did. Yeah, you were running through. You were running in a dress,
just
up a hill
crying
from a church, just endlessly crying.
The song didn't make me cry. It made me imagine myself crying.
Sure.
See, that song was so good, we're still talking about it. Still haven't started talking about this one. You see where I'm going with this. Not my sort of music. I'm not saying it's bad. I've never really got into it. It did sound a little bit like Cool for Cats, which
so
I love.
You're slamming all forms of ska or modern ska?
No, I'm not slamming it. I'm just saying it's not my sort of music.
This is a show where we want things black or white, Sammy. You either love or hate something.
No, I'm definitely in, because if I'm at a party, I'll happily dance to ska.
This is what I was thinking. You see, that sounds to me exactly like the kind of tune which you
to
whack
get
on
up
at a
and
party.
dance, yeah.
People think, I don't know what this is. Wait a minute, I can't resist that trumpet. It's got me going. I've got my imaginary wobble board. Off I go.
It's an irresistible dance song, but it's not something I would avidly listen to. I wouldn't be on a train and go, I'll have a bit of the Cat Empire.
Would that song, Rufus, feature on any kind of wedding playlist?
There are nicely put. There are various types of music that I always say that haven't been written for me, and I think reggae was never written with me in mind.
Do you know what? I think you might be right there. Possibly the most
I'm looking at the jumper and I'm thinking definitely.
Yeah.
White woolen Christmas jumper.
Yeah.
No, almost certainly you're right there.
And every time I listen to reggae or a lot of ska, I think, nah. I could lend my Shostakovich records to, Bob Marley and Natty and Peter Tosh. They wouldn't be interested. They wouldn't be interested at all. However, that really got me really excited. And it's probably because I can imagine that some of the horn section reminded me of a kind of documentary about the 50s. The 1950s in England became a hotbed of Caribbean culture. They arrived at the Windrush, and da-da-da-da-da-da, people getting down off the boat and everybody laughing. And
Once again, only able to enjoy something if it relates back to the 50s or earlier.
Pretty much.
I'm pleased that that's won you over to the entirety of. So this Australian six-piece band that that are doing kind of cod reggae have finally persuaded you in a way that Bob Marley and Peter Tosh could never do.
Yeah.
Harry, you of course are very much down with the Reggae Brothers. And,
very much so, Steve. But I was going to say, of course, the Cat Empire are Australian. My girlfriend is Australian, and every year we have to go to this festival in which they move around the parks in London. They're called the Toast Festival, which is basically a celebration of Antipodean culture and food. It's not very big, and you generally have to listen to all sorts of interminable, awful dross. The bands there are generally horrific. But I actually got a copy of the Cat Empire album not long ago, and there's some wonderful stuff on it like that. A lot of it drives me to distraction and is a bit annoying, but that's a great song, and everyone loves a happy bit of brass, don't they? Because they can imagine miming playing it themselves with big puffed out cheeks, which is what I'd be doing.
Everyone likes a bit of happy brass. I think we were talking about whether you can drum up at least something quotable every week, Har.
Yeah,
and I think that is your quote of the week. Okay, final tune from the Pigeonhole this week is Wilco, new single The Thanks I Get. The Thanks I Get from Wilco, forthcoming single from the Sky Blue Sky special edition album with 2 CDs, an extra CD presumably of bonus materials and the like. And does it say when it's out? It probably does. Whenever I am in the street and a Steve Show fan comes up to me, brackets, a Steve Show fan has never come up to me in the street, they always say to me, Steve, why do you bother getting the opinions of the people in the studio? They count for nothing, they are worthless. And I say, do you know what, imaginary listener? That is because it's a great excuse to play some brand new music, such as that tune by Wilco. So there we are, I've justified the existence of this feature. Harry, quickly, your views please on Wilco. I know you're a big fan.
Yeah, I liked it. He can churn that stuff out in his sleep. That sounded like it could have been off my favourite Wilco album, Being There, because they went a bit experimental and weird, but that was lovely, return to form.
But you're a bit worried about this double CD rip-off album?
Oh, why did they do that? Put out a couple of extra tracks, make you buy it. If anyone wants that track, why don't they write into us and we can send them that free promo copy?
No,
don't do
not
that.
ever say such things. We're breaking all kinds of insider rules. Rufus.
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with that at all, is there? It was all just completely perfect in a kind of really nice live music kind of way, which is what I love listening to. So I'll be buying the album.
Oh, blimey, it's won you over. That's,
they might. If they want to put that on a sticker and stick on the front of the album, then they can.
I'll be buying the album.
I think there's another free copy upstairs, Ruth.
Okay, nice. Cheers, Harry.
And Sammy, will you be running anywhere listening to that?
No.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you very much. Once again, your opinions are as invaluable as ever. So we've got some live music coming up very soon. But first, before that, we want to get in some Beach Boys. I don't know if anyone's noticed, but it's Christmas very soon, and I'm unabashedly sentimental. And to get us in the mood, there you are, from the Christmas with the Beach Boys compilation, Winter Symphony from the boys. So we are very enormously pleased as we've moved into the hub here at Six Music, where it is the home of live music on Six Music. And I say the hub, and it is essentially the sort of cafeteria area, as far as I can tell. There's a coffee machine there, but plus Duke Special. Let's welcome the Steve Wright staff. A live round of applause. I tell you, it's a huge thrill to have you here, guys. Thank you so much. But you know what? This is an even bigger thrill for Sammy, our CJ. Little did she know a couple of months back when she won a vast competition. It was X Factor-like in its scope and scale to try and find a female contributor to our otherwise laddish show. Little did she realise that she would get to meet some of her musical heroes. And she is now talking to Sammy. Step up to the mic.
Hello, everybody. I'm very, very excited that you're quite here.
Can you? I'm going to let you I'm going to hand this over to you for this first link.
I might fall over.
No, I know.
Look how much I'm smiling, I can hardly see.
So, are you? Can you introduce the band?
I'd like to. I hope I've got the right song first. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls listening to Six Music right now, you're about to hear one of the best bands in the world.
Wait, hey, whoa, slow down. Before they play a tune, surely just let's find out who the guys are.
Well, that's exciting. Can they introduce themselves?
By all means.
Well, on clarinet.
Hello, my name's Ben.
I thought that was going to go further. I thought you looked
so did I. I was wondering whether to say my surname, which is Castle, but I thought better not. I didn't want to eat up too much of your time.
Do you know what? That could have been just a dynamite link, and I feel like we've already squandered it. We've got Ben Castle on clarinet. Tell us quickly about I don't know, just fill us in.
Well,